Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. It's a beautiful and cool Sunday evening here in Lagos, Nigeria, and we're excited because ATP is 3. It's our third anniversary. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. We're grateful to God for keeping us all these years, educating mothers, teaching mothers, saving the lives of our children, and ATP is 3. Hooray! And this is also going to be our second online conference. I'd like you to invite your friends to join us. If you've been having questions, you want to know about ATP, how ATP started, and what ATP is all about. So please invite your friends to join us, share the video so that you can also have an opportunity to watch and ask them questions. All right, I know Dr. Gbemi is excited. She's in the house. Dr. Gbemi is the founder of ATP. ATP started 3 years ago. Wow, so many, stories and events and activities down the line, and she's here to share the experience. Dr. Gbemi, you're welcome.
Hi, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a one beautiful day in Le, and it's my pleasure to be here on Ask the Pediatrician Live. And today is especially for us because it kicks off our 2018 anniversary week, and so I'm so excited to be here. And we're also excited for you to be joining us on this live show. We encourage you to kindly invite your friends, invite family, and if just join us and have a wonderful time. We're also going to have the keynote address of our online conference after the opening ceremony. So thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gbemi. You've heard her. We're going to have the keynote address today. You will definitely learn something today again. Remember how passionate Dr. Gbemi is about the health and the life of children. All right, it's our third anniversary. Wow, Dr. Gbemi, 3 long years, ATP, with so many followers, with so many people. How did this dream come about? What gave you the inspiration to start ATP? Ask the pediatrician.
All right. Thank you so much, Okpai. Well, Ask the Pediatrician Foundation, Ask the Pediatrician started as a Facebook
Okay,
group on the 20th
okay,
of July, 2015. I was just, I
okay.
mean, Facebook has been around for a bit around that time, and I was privileged to be a member of so many, well, not so many, maybe a few Facebook
Yes.
groups with females. And one of the things I feature on some of those groups that people ask health questions. And a few people know
Okay.
that I'm a doctor, I'm a pediatrician by profession. So I do respond to some of those questions. But because
Okay.
it's a free group, everybody is free to also chip in their comments and contributions. And I found out that sometimes people give, they mean well. I mean, they
Wrong
meant well. They give,
information.
but they give the wrong advice. And sometimes I read, then I used to read some advice that make me to literally shake. And so I was, and of course, sometimes it end up not so nicely because everybody is trying to assert their opinion. But unfortunately, when it comes to the health of children, we can't afford just for you to take. So a mother is asking questions. She ended up having 100 answers, some of them that are poles apart, and she's more confused than she was at the beginning when she came to the group to ask a question.
A few
So
questions.
so one day I just had an inspiration to have a group that is where that has the professionals giving the answers, so that I don't want the mothers confused, because I don't want children dying as a result of advice they get from online groups. So that's how basically Ask the Pediatrician
ATP
started.
started.
So that's why it was called Ask the Pediatrician, because this time around when you come to our group, you are asking a professional. It's not just what experienced mothers or other people giving their opinion. And so that's how we started in July 2015, and today we've really grown big, and we thank God for all the impact that the group
Today.
has made in the life of people on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Bemi. I hope you heard that. It's only a passionate doctor that will want to come online to respond to people. Dr. Bemi, does ATP have a vision and a mission statement? What does ATP stand for?
Okay, so to continue our journey, so we started as a Facebook group, and then we're answering lots of questions and we're saving lives, hopefully through our health education and information. Then we begin to realize that there could also be some other people that may not be able to have that opportunity to be on Facebook. Some mothers don't have I mean, for you to be on Facebook, you must at least have a smartphone that has internet or a laptop or something. So we know that there
Sure.
are some people that don't have that opportunity. So we begin to look at how do we also touch those mothers, those children that don't
Yes.
have that opportunity to interface with ATP. And so that started our online, that started our community medical outreaches. And so we've been to so many places. We've been to Makoko. We started that in 20, it was actually on the period we are going to do our first anniversary that we started our medical outreach, because again we're like,
Outreach.
what can we do better, how can we touch more lives? So we said, let's go to the indigent communities where the mothers don't have opportunity to be able to uh, uh to 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 have access to medical care or a pediatrician and things like that. So we started the community medical outreaches, and we've grown with that. And with time, we now realize that it's not just the health, the physical medical issues. We also need to talk about the support vulnerable children, orphans, and so we begin to touch life. So basically, our vision, basically on Ask the Pediatrician, is to improve the well-being of children globally, and especially for those who are in the third world or those who are in developing countries where access to healthcare professionals and access to good
Yes.
healthcare could be quite limited. So that's our vision. And it will interest you that we started this thing just as an informal thing, but because we're growing and we're getting bigger, and that is how we begin to get to the stage where we now have to become incorporated. So for those who wonder, ATP is now officially registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria as a bona fide non-governmental organization, and we were incorporated last year. So again, this is our first year after being officially recognized and registered in the country. And but we thank God, because even without the official registration, we were able to touch many lives, and having our own name make it easier for us even to do more things for children all over the world, and we're grateful for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kundu. I hope you've heard ATP is not just a Facebook page where you can ask your questions or group. We go out, we do outreaches. We reach out to people who cannot come online. All right, that's a message from Moreni Kerlayo Abifari. Long live ATP. Thank you, Moreni KG. Let's keep our messages coming. Wish ATP well. Congratulations. Dr. Baby is here. You can also ask her any questions you have in mind regarding ATP. We'll take your medical questions later, but now this is ATP at 3 celebration. Okay, Anoluapo is saying hello. Hello, Anoluapo. We're still here live, and Dr. Bemi is here. All right, Dr. Bemi, very quickly, what's the next level for ETP? What's the plan for the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Is it just going to be the Facebook group and then outreaches, or do you have other things in stock for us?
Okay, thank you so much, Okpe. So just before I continue to answer that, I want to encourage our viewers, kindly share this video, kindly share it on ATP, to your friends, timelines, and all that. So you can invite more people to join us. So that you can get to know more about ATP. It's our anniversary. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so ATP, like we said, our vision is basically to touch lives. Our vision is to touch lives of children, especially, and we are a little bit partial to children who are vulnerable, to children who are in difficult circumstances. And most of our outreaches, we've been doing it in Lagos. And there was a time somebody was asking me, "Oh, Dr. Gbemi, why is it only Lagos?" and things like that. But we're looking forward to expanding that. It will interest you to know that ATP has members all over the world. We have members in Nigeria. We have a very accessible member in Nairobi, Kenya. And if you are one of those members who are not from Lagos, Nigeria, and you're listening to me, can you just give us a shout out in the comment so that we will know that you're also, joining us today.
Watching,
Yes,
yes.
exactly. So we're looking forward to expand our network or our interventions to beyond Facebook
Okay.
and even to um other communities in Nigeria, because like we said, we've been mostly in Lagos, but we also been to Kwara. If you remember the Mancha children that were learning under the
Yeah.
tree, ATP went
The
to Kwara
tree.
State. Yeah, we went to the local government in
Yeah.
Kwara State, and we're able to refurbish the school, and we're able to do a medical outreach there as well. And so we're looking forward to doing more in terms of other states in the country. We hopefully our next outreach coming up in October, we're going to do it at a regional level. So it's not just going to be Lagos only. We're going to reach other states. So basically that's what we do, and we also hope to touch other children, irrespective of where they are. And in the nearest future, I see us touching Africa. I see us touching all children. Wherever children are, that's our passion, to help them to ensure that they live to accomplish, to achieve their potential. That's our vision, that's our passion on ATP. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bemi. You have had the vision, you have had the passion, and you've had the mission. And I must confess, besides Dr. Bemi, all the other doctors on the ATP board are also very, very passionate about the well-being of children. Thank you, ATP. Thank you, Dr. Bemi. Well done for the good job. We pray that God will continue to empower ATP in Jesus' name. All right.
Amen.
This Greater Heights ATP, this is just the beginning. Amen. Thank you, Ngozi Unwadulawani. Thank you very much for your words of encouragement. Okay. This is also from Yinkus Ade. Congratulations to ATP from the USA.
Yeah,
All right.
so we
That's to
are
show you that we're
so
not
that's
just.
nice. I'm happy that we're having members of ATP from outside Lagos, Nigeria,
Yes, sending your
touching us
messages.
and sending their message. Please keep the messages coming. Please keep sharing the videos, and let's have more members of ATP, in the studio. Yeah, thank you, Yinku Zade.
From the USA. All right,
Yeah.
this is our very own Vera James. Happy anniversary, ATP. I'm proud to be associated with you. We are also proud to have you on board. Thank you, Vera.
Thank
Well
you,
done.
Vera. I mean, Vera is one of our most hardworking moderator and admin member. Thank you so much for being part of the vision. One of the things that ATP has done, I've learned or I've benefited from ATP is the opportunity to work with
Yeah.
people. It's the fact that people, initially I started ATP as my, just as a passion then, because I'm a pediatrician. I work, I see children in the hospital, and then it got to a stage where I begin to see that most children come to the hospital because of ignorance, because they come to us, and one of the saddest day for a pediatrician is if you are not able to save a child, because and you know that this child could have survived, but you were not able to do anything because the child came to you, very late, and sometimes because mothers were trying to do it their best. No mother wants their child to die, obviously. So,
Very true.
so they won't deliberately not want to bring their children, but they are trying their own thing, or maybe because they don't have the knowledge, maybe because of the ignorance. At the end of the day, you are not able. So that's the thing that started the vision, and it's about the passion. I want, like, why should children be dying, especially those of us in the third world? Why should they be dying from preventable causes, things that we could treat, things that we could do something about? But since I started ATP, initially it was just one woman vision, one woman, passion. But you know what? God has,
No.
brought a lot of people to us on ATP who are like, oh, this is a beautiful vision, this is a beautiful passion. And now we have so many moderators, so many volunteers on ATP. And I want to use this opportunity of our anniversary to thank everyone who has contributed to the vision of ATP. I want to thank all the moderators. There was a time I was going to close down ATP, for your information, because I don't have the time to answer all the questions. The questions were so repetitive. My family, I begin to like complain. Lo, you're always on your laptop. You're always answering questions. Face other thing. So it got to that point. I told one of the other professionals with me, Dr. Jumoke. I also want to thank all the professionals who have been supporting me, because it's not just about Dr. Gbemi, it's about every one of us. And so one of them, one of the one of those doctors, oh, Gbemi, this is beautiful, please don't stop it, and God just, before Facebook introduced concept of moderators, we on ATP, we have the concept of volunteers. So we begin to have volunteers, non-medical people who just help Dr. Baby. They see the question, I have answered it before, they have known the answer now. So they just copy my answers and, so when Facebook now introduced moderators, we already have them. So we just change their name to moderators. Started the outreach as well. We had a lot of people volunteering, medical volunteers, and non-medical volunteers, and everyone is always, very excited. We don't pay them anything. Nobody has earned a single salary for doing anything on ATP. You can quote me anywhere. In fact, rather, most of these moderators, most of these volunteers, they are also the ones that give their money, that give their time. And sometimes I'm so amazed how people can give. We have over, like, sometimes our outreaches, we have over 200 volunteers. The first time we went to Kwara, we were only 4 of us that went from Lagos. And in Kwara State, we had 50 volunteers who I have never met before. And they came out, were able to do the outreach. So these are some of the beautiful things we have experienced on ACP. And so I really want to thank all our moderators, all our volunteers, and sometimes when we need money, and people sometimes always ask me, Dr. Baby, how do you get the money? How do you get these people? How do you
I was
do
just
it?
asking that question.
Exactly. And I just tell people, when I tell people that I don't know, it is these people just come. They just come by themselves. People give of their money, people give of their time. People sometimes don't want to believe me. They think, oh, maybe there's a secret that you're trying to hide from us. And I tell them, no, I'm not hiding anything. I'm not a professional NGO person. I didn't go out planning to start an NGO. I just like, okay, I have this vision. I want to help mothers. I want to prevent. How can I do something as a pediatrician? How can I help people? I just found out that it's not enough for me to just be talking in the hospital. I need to contact the mothers before they get to the hospital. And that is how I started. But because it's a good vision, because God has helped us so much, many people came in and joined in, giving their time, giving their money, giving their everything. And sometimes these days, sometimes I may not be on ATP for 2 days and nobody will know, because there are people always there 24/7,
Yeah.
Monday to Saturday. In fact, I have to say, look, we need to have a day for rest, and that's why we don't say questions on,
And
on
Sunday.
Sunday. But we really want to thank God for all the things that God has enabled us to do on HCP. Thank you so much, everyone. And for everyone who has contributed, I want to say a big thank you. God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Bimi. God bless you. When a founder has got a vision and has got God, definitely he will back you up. That's the
Yeah.
story of ATP. All right. This is a message from Idayat Uchuolakwe. Happy anniversary. Great ATP. Thank you, Idayat. Thank you very much. We appreciate your messages. Let's keep them coming. Okay. That's from Kuforola DBC. Happy anniversary, ATP. More years in Jesus' name. We say big amen to that.
Thank
Thank you
you,
all very much.
Koporala.
Yes. All right,
We have so many
Elizabeth
messages.
Ulubisi. Happy anniversary, ATP. Thank you, Elizabeth. We appreciate you all. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you. All right, that's a thumbs up from Busola Ugumbade Badewa. All right, thank you. All right, they keep coming in. Izine Mosu. Happy anniversary, more grace. Thank you very much, Izine. We appreciate your messages.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much, for everyone that is country that has sent us messages. I really want to appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, so we're still here, and Dr. Bimi is still here live. If you have any particular question you want to ask Dr. Bimi about ATP, this is an opportunity for you to ask that question. Dr. Bimi is still here, and we're still here, and it's still ATP 3 years anniversary. Glory be to God. All right, Dr. Bimi, talking about ATP outreaches, medical outreaches going out. Is it just medical outreaches you do? Do you reach out to children in other ways? Is it just drugs and food and that's it? Or are there other things you do for them?
Uh, there are many things we do on ATP. Of course, health education is our primary focus on Ask the Pediatrician Foundation and health information. But beyond that, we also do, so we have four major ways of carrying out our vision on ATP. So we have our health education and information, which is our primary cornerstone mission, and we do this through our ATP Facebook group. I hope you know that on our group you can ask any questions you have on health issues of children from Mondays to Friday, and we have moderators, we have our professionals who will answer you. Apart from that, we have a dedicated website, the Ask the Pediatrician website, where we all our topical health issues have been written as articles, and you can also drop your comments there as well. That is also one way. And recently, we've also introduced the Ask the Pediatricians Live, which is a program like this on Saturdays at 10, where we take topical health issues and we discuss it, and you're able to ask your questions live and direct, and you get immediate response. So those are the various ways by which we do our health education, and of course we usually write on whatever is topical, what is going on, and all that. So those are the ways by which Ask the Pediatrician we do health education. But apart from education, we also take the medical outreaches, we take it to the communities, we take it to those children that don't have access to pediatricians, that don't have access to doctors. So that's also one of the things we do as well. And we do our medical outreach. We have two major medical outreaches that we do every year. We do what we call the Children's Day medical outreach, usually on May 27th. May 27 every year, and we've done we've done like two or three now. Children's Day medical outreach. We've been to Ijegun, then we did the last one in Ekpe, and apart from that, we also do our October outreach, and we've done two as well. So these are like our statutory medical outreaches. But in addition to what we do as a group on our own, other people, when they have their own events, community outreaches and all that, they always invite Ask the Pediatricians to be partners. So we've partnered with other organizations. We've been to churches, we've been to other NGO events, and we help them with the medical outreach part. So these are things that we do. And apart from that, the third thing we do is that we also help our professionals. So we try to empower our professionals. So we do training workshops. We've done nutritional seminar workshop with PIC and all the rest. We do those kind of things for our professionals to empower them and to help them be the best that they can be. So those are some of the things that we also do on Ask the Pediatrician. And finally, we always like to support orphans and vulnerable children. So orphans and vulnerable children, we try. Thank you. So we've supported children like we've supported Makoko children. Usually we partner with other organizations like the community of Saint Egidio. They do an annual lunch for children, and we often partner with them. And the same thing we've also supported the orphanages. We donated the FSA box, and we also try to. Those are the various ways by which we support orphans and vulnerable children on Ask the Pediatricians. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Gbemi. Thank you very much for that. For that insightful words on ATP and all that ATP is doing. All right.
I think Morenike is also sending us a message. It's proud of ATP.
How can I join ATP? Okay. Our messages are still coming in. Monsura Hassan Amzat, happy 3rd anniversary ATP. Thank you, Monsura.
Thank you, Monsura.
Thank you for your messages.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll be glad to have you put your location as you send in your message so that we can know where the message is coming in from. If you just put your message and just put maybe Lagos or, just put your location, All right, this is from Jacinta Oluchi. I'm happy to be associated with you. Long live ATP. Thank you, Jacinta Oluchi, for that message. All right, I know we have so many messages. All right, this is
Yeah.
Moreni Kela. You're proud of ATP. Well done, Ma. You have been a blessing. Happy anniversary, ATP.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Morenike.
Moreni
Morenike is also one of
Kela.
our moderators. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. We're
Yeah.
proud to be associated with you as well. God bless you. Let's keep the messages coming in. Dr. Bimi is still here. And I also like you to share the videos so that your friends can have an opportunity to watch and ask questions and be a part of the celebration. I mean, ATP is 3. We're excited. All right. So, Dr. Bimi, I was asking, how can I be a part of ATP? I know maybe somebody is asking. I've been hearing about the outreaches, trying to sponsor. How can I join ATP? I want to be a moderator. What's the first step to take to join ATP?
Okay. Thank you, Okpe. ATP is open to everyone. The membership of ATP is open to everyone. So you can be a member. Anyone who knocks on our door, who click join, we accept them as long as we make sure that you are not one of those scammers or things like that. But usually we generally we take everybody who come in to join us on Ask the Pediatrician. So everyone is welcome. But apart from just being an ordinary floor member of Ask the Pediatrician group, there are other ways which you can also contribute. In other words, if you want to go the extra mile, so we welcome
Okay.
moderators. So we need moderators. So we're going to do a recruitment campaign on Thursday, and during that recruitment campaign, we're going to have different all the different categories by which you can
Categories.
be by which you can be parts of our group. So so just watch out for our Thursday recruitment campaign. So you could be a
Okay.
moderator. Apart from that, you could also let me just show us that now. uh,
Okay.
so so there are different ways you could be a member, or you could be a partner with us on Ask the Pediatrician. So you could be a
Okay.
moderator, and apart from being a
Okay.
moderator, you could also be a financial partner. So we have different
Okay.
level of financial partnership depending on how much you want to support. Or you can just be a once in a while, maybe every project you support us. Or you could also be a medical outreach volunteer. So we have medical outreach volunteers, for all our medical outreaches. And this time around, because we are going regional for our outreach, so in your state, you could be an outreach volunteer. So these are different ways by which you can be part of Ask the Pediatrician. So just watch out for our recruitment campaign. I think it's on Thursday or Friday. I'm not so sure now. But during this our anniversary, we're going to have a recruitment campaign. And once you
Okay.
volunteer, once you drop your name or email or get in touch with any of our moderators or admin members, then we'll be very happy. Like the funny thing, okay, today
Yes,
somebody
ma'am.
just sent me a message on WhatsApp. This is
Okay.
one of our old moderators, and he told me,
Okay.
I think she told me that in her CV, she went for a job interview, and in her CV, she
Okay.
put there that she volunteers for Ask the Pediatricians. And one of the interviewers
Wow.
was asking her, "What is Ask the Pediatricians all about?" and all that. And he was telling them, so he turned the interview into telling them about Ask the Pediatricians. And you know what? He got that job. They were so
Yes.
impressed. They were so
Mm.
impressed with the fact that he was volunteering, giving
Mm.
selflessly and helping mothers, and he got the job. So we've seen people who have been given visa because they are volunteers. So if you
With
volunteer for
ATP.
ATP, we may not be able to give you money. We may not be able
Mm.
to, we don't pay our volunteers. We don't have that cash, but I tell you that the rewards are quite immense. And for me, okay, it is more about the fulfillment. The fulfillment
Yes,
of knowing
true.
that we are making impact, we're touching lives. I was reading on the a testimonial page this afternoon, I think yesterday as well, and I was
Okay.
so blown away with. Some people are just on it, they don't even make comment, they don't even ask questions, but they are
True.
learning a lot. I
A
think
lot.
the first time moms, they deserve an award, because I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, the ATP make being a first time mom so easy for me." It's
True.
so those are the joy. And in fact, I share some with our moderators that mothers were saying that the speed at which we respond to their questions. They are so happy. And I thank all our moderators for being so wonderful in responding to our mothers. So these are the joy of being a positive influence in, brightening the little corner where we are. So thank you so much. If you want to be part of ATP, part of what we're doing, we're very excited and we would like you to be part of it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, you have heard it from Dr. Bimi. We're excited to have you come on board to be a part of ATP. There's so much more to gain than just the money, but there is no money in it. Prepare your minds when you come on.
Maybe in the future.
All right, this is a message from Morenike Layo. Okay, Morenike is saying, yes, I remember ATP came to my outreach last year. My church is
Yeah.
ready to recover from the show of love. Morenike from Lagos. Thank you, Morenike,
Yeah,
for
thank
that
you,
message.
Morenike. I remember, yes, we went to Morenike Church, and you know what happened after Morenike Church? Even the pastor's wife was like, "Oh, I also want to be part of ACP. I want to go with you to how your outreach is and all that." So it's been wonderful, So those are the kind of testimonies that we hear that tends to give us a lot of joy on Axi Pediatricians, and we thank God for that privilege. Yeah.
Also, Benny, can I share what I learned?
Yeah, you can. Why not? Go ahead.
I will say I'm still a first time mom because I still have one, but I learned so much. The myths of the cutting board, powder for the mom and I fought, taking care of my siblings' children. She has learned a lot even from me. She's not a direct member of ATP, but she has learned
Okay.
a lot from me being a member of ATP. So well done. Our grandmas are learning as well because my mom
Yes,
will say,
we have a lot
hey,
of
what does your ATP say,
wonderful
sir?
grammar. Exactly. The grammars are another special group. I think I need to create the caucus for grammars because, you know,
Grandma.
one of the challenges we new mothers have is the grammar issue because
Yeah.
the new mothers have now come to ATP. They've learned a lot, and then they are having issues with the grammar. I remember at the beginning when we started, a lot of people will be asking, how do I handle my mother-in-law? My mother-in-law is not going to do it. I remember we
Mm,
actually had a group discussion of the new mom and the granny's battle or tussle.
on
I
that.
remember I remember we had that discussion. But these days now we have grandma on HCP, and
Mm,
most of the grandmas are not even the one testifying and of the impact that ATP is making for them, and they are telling us, "Oh, I now know better." Nobody's a monopoly of knowledge. We appreciate all the grandmas on
knowledge.
ATP. Shout out to all the grandmas. We appreciate you. Thank
Grandmas.
you so much. If you're a grandma, you can reach out to us in the comments and let us know that you are there as well on ATP. And we thank you
Grandma,
because
yes.
you have been very supportive and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being part of ATP. And like we said, the goal is to make child health better, especially for those of us in third world. In other parts of the world, if a child should die, they raise an inquiry. If a child died unexpectedly, there are some things that, if children has cancers and things like that, we know that are terminal illnesses, of course, we
Yes,
know there's nothing we can do about that. But when children die from simple things, yesterday I was talking about diarrhea. You know, 500,000 children die every year
wow.
from diarrhea. This
Yeah.
this is diarrhea that ordinary ORS, 15 naira sachets
I'll take
would
care
treat.
of
So why should a child die from those things? So even
that.
though we are not able to quantify our impact, but for every child that has been saved on ATP, I'm so grateful. And I tell people it is not about the number. When we initially started ATP, some people are just wondering, oh, no, it's just about the popularity or drive. And I said, no, that's not my vision. Even if it's only one mother that is on
That is
ATP,
educated.
and I was able to touch that mom and prevent that child's death, I'm happy. I have so many testimonies that I can share. I remember there was a picture of a child that was posted on ATP. Some of the old ATP members will remember that child. And
Okay.
that child looked like a picture from those war-torn countries. The child was so
Okay. I
malnourished.
think I remember.
Yeah, you remember Okoya. I saw that
Yes,
picture.
yes,
It
yes, yes.
broke my heart. And you know what? ATP, we went the extra mile. We went the extra mile to look for that mom. We went to our inbox. We sent that message. We make sure we got a hold of her. And we brought when that time I was still at Lowe's, and we brought that child to Lowe's, and we treated it. One of our ATP members, was the one that gave us like
Oh,
30,000 naira just to say, let's save this child. I will maybe during later on, I will look for the picture of that child. I'm sure if you Google it
Child,
on our group, you will say that child
you
was
see the
like
picture.
4.4 kilos at 1 year or something. I mean, so malnourished. And as at the time I took the second picture of that child was already now about 8 kilos. And that is so amazing. So those are the kind of things that give us joy on Ask the Pediatrician. The fact that we're able to impact lives. And that mother till tomorrow, she's always sending me messages. That child could have died, but that child didn't die because she
Yeah,
posted that
plus.
picture on ATP, and ATP, it's not just to give the information to the mother, go and do this, go and do that. Sometimes we go the extra mile. We went the extra mile, we raised the money, and we were able to save that child. And those are the kind of, so those are some of the success stories that we are happy that there's one child that didn't die just because of Ask the Pediatrician. So we really appreciate that. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Bini. Well done, I must say. God bless you for the good work you're doing. We
Thank
appreciate you.
God.
Thank you for the
Yeah.
beautiful messages that come in. Adesua, long live ATP. Thank you, Adesua. We appreciate your messages. We appreciate if you can put your location to your message so that we can tell where you're sending in your message from. Thank you all. All right, we're still here, and Dr. Bim is still here. If you have any questions, if you have things you want to know about ATP, please, this is an opportunity for you to ask that question. All right, Dr. Bimi, you've talked about how to be a member of ATP. Remember, there's no money attached to it. It's
No,
selfless
it's free.
service.
It's free membership. Free membership is
And
free.
membership is free. So you're
All we
welcome to
all
come and.
Yeah, all we want is your time and your commitment. That's all. But membership is free. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Dr. Pemi, ATP in the nearest future, are you have shared a little bit, but I'm like, in the next 5, 10 years, are we going to go beyond the Facebook group and the outreaches, or do you have something else in the cooler for us for
Yes,
ATP?
definitely. Definitely we have a lot of things in the cooler as
Dr.
God
Bimi,
give. Yes, as God give us grace.
Dr. Bimi, are
We
you
have.
there?
Yes, I'm there. I can hear you, okay. So we have so many
Dr.
things
Bimi,
as well that we have that we're going to do by the grace of God, and so we hopefully will be able to get our Ask Pediatrician app.
okay,
Hopefully,
sorry for
we are.
that
Yes,
break in
you're
transmission.
back. Okay, so we hopefully we're able to get our Ask Pediatrician app so that
Dr.
we
Bimi, are
have.
you with us?
Yes, I'm with you, Okpe. Can you hear me?
Okay.
So hopefully we'll be able.
Okay, it's still ATP.
Okay, sorry
Dr.
for.
Ben, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. So hopefully we'll be able to get our Active Pediatrician app running, and that will be able to make it easier for mothers to check questions and get their answers immediately. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we look forward to also uh, touching more children in Nigeria, global, and also beyond Nigeria to other parts of Africa. So these are some of the vision that we have in mind for Ask the Pediatricians. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Bemi. I know God will continue to empower you to do all that you have in mind and beyond that in Jesus' name. All right, this
Amen.
is King Boss Seto. Sorry, pardon me if I got the name wrong. Folashade Omoyeni.
Yeah,
Kudos
for
to
like
you,
that.
ma. Thank you, Folashade Omoyeni. Thank you for your message. Let's keep them coming in. This is also from Adesua Ayo Kumi. Long live ACP. Amen to that. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
This
Please keep sharing this video so that your friends can have opportunities to watch and share and also congratulate ATP. This is Ojolakwe Lawal. Well done, Dr. Boyede. Dr. Boyede,
Thank you,
thumbs up.
Big Mommy. That is
Oh,
Big
okay.
Mommy.
That's Big
She
Mommy.
was the one that takes care of my kids when they were younger, when I was working as a
Oh,
pediatrician at Luz.
oh,
Mrs. Ujolakwe Ogumadede, thank you so much. So she's a great
thank
mom.
you, ma.
She was a mom to
Thank
my
you,
to
ma. We
my kids.
appreciate you.
during those during those years I was becoming a pediatrician. I really want to appreciate you. Thank you so much. She knows how to call me when it's time to breastfeed and all those things. Yeah, thank you, Big Mommy. Yeah.
Okay, this is Bola Messi. ATP is a blessing to us all.
Thank
The
you,
love is
Bola.
real. I guess yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bola.
Thank you,
The
Bola.
love is
Yeah,
real.
Bola is one of our moderator, and is also one of our outreach
Volunteer. Volunteer.
volunteer. She's actually the head of our lab outreach most of the time. The good thing about ATP is that you can be a multiple, you can, each of the category are not mutually exclusive. So you can be
Okay.
a moderator, you can be an outreach
Yes.
volunteer, you can be a professional, you can be, oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the professionals when I was talking about how to be part of ATP. If you're a medical professional,
Sure.
pediatrician, medical doctors, nurses, lab scientists, whichever profession, we also
Yes.
need you. You can help us with our questions online. You can also be one of our outreach volunteer members. So Bola is one of them. And so we have many people that multi-task like that. They are on everything ATP. And by the grace of God, we're going to be recognizing some of our best partners and volunteer during the course of this our anniversary week. Thank you so
Wow.
much. And sometimes some of these people are also our financial partners, but they give us money as well. So thank you for every person who has contributed to the vision of ATP, and that is making it possible for us to still be running with this vision to today. I want to say thank you, and may God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you all. May God bless you. Okay, this is Gloria. Well done, Dr. Gbemisola. God bless ATP. Gloria is
Thank you,
also a
Gloria.
member.
Yeah, Gloria is one of our Ask Pediatrician supervisors. She's a moderator. She's been with us. There are some people that have been with us since the beginning. And I think she's one of them. I really want to appreciate her for all the. It's not easy to be an ACP moderator. In fact, the last time we train our moderators, and people do feedback to us that, and this is not a boast, but I can say categorically that ATP has the best moderators all over Facebook. I can make that boast because I think
Yeah,
our
I'm
moderators.
clapping.
So if you're an ATP moderator, give yourself some busak, busak,
Hey, high
busak.
five. Yes, they deserve some accolades.
Yeah, they deserve all the accolades, seriously. So all our moderators, I think they're the best, because there's a time we were running this training for our moderators, and somebody actually told us that the kind of training ACP does for moderators, that is more than what she did when she started her full-time job, the job that she's getting her
Wow.
salary from, the kind
Salary
of.
from.
So ATP is not for lazy people. We train our moderators very polite, very, and they're the best. They're the best, and this is not a boast. This is actually the truth. And people do feedback to us that we have one of the most well administered Facebook groups, very focused. I'm sorry, some of you may be in our group and you wonder why we don't do your birthdays, why we don't tell you when you had a baby and all those things. It's not as if we don't appreciate that. It's not as if we are not happy for you and all that, but we are too busy, and we want to really be focused. We want our focus to be child health, and that is why you see that we don't answer any other questions that is not child health. ATP is primary, but by God's grace, we've created a second group, our new baby, the Ask Pediatricians family. Yeah,
Family.
so we have ATP family. So ATP family is our baby that is for you, the mother, because sometimes the mother's like, I want to ask a question about myself. I want to ask a question about my husband, and we don't want to answer. They will say, no, 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 ATP is for child health. So you can now go to ATP family group, where we have people like very astute family physician like Dr. Rotimi, Desanya. Dr. Rotimi, kudos to Dr. Rotimi, is one of our most
This.
committed ATP member, moderator,
Yeah, it was too
professional,
fast.
outreach volunteer. It's also one of our
It's awesome.
trustees. Thank you, Dr. Rotimi. If you are listening, we appreciate your good service.
Thank
So Dr.
you.
Rotimi is now in charge of ATP family, and he has his own team working with him now, and some of our moderators are also there as well, and so they will be able to answer your questions. So we want our focus. One of the things we don't want to lose on ATP is that we don't want to lose the focus. And at times mothers complain. In the beginning, we had a lot of struggle. It was actually a little bit of struggle to maintain the focus. People want us to be doing every other thing every other group is doing. And I always tell them ATP is a special group. It's a specialist group. there are different groups on Facebook, and I appreciate all the groups. I'm a member of many groups as well, Christian ladies groups and other female groups, cooking groups and all that. I'm a member of them as well. But I always tell them ATP is a specialist group. It's about child health only, and that's our focus. If you need every other aspect, we don't discourage you from joining other groups. We want you to go to those other groups for your other needs. But when it comes to your child health issues, just come to us. And it is Ask the Pediatrician, the professional giving you the answer. So any answer you get from ATP, just know it's a professional answer and you can take it to the bank. Initially we had a lot of battle with the experienced mothers. You didn't have some of the challenges we faced on ATP, but I can share with you. We had lots of battles with the experienced mothers, and it was a battle, but eventually they get the message. They get it that this is the profession. This is Ask the Pediatrician. So whatever answer you are getting must be the pediatrician answer, or a healthcare professional, because we have other professionals. We have people like Dr. Oge, who is our pediatric surgeon. We have Dr. Buki, who is our pediatric dentist. So we have people like that also are specialists in their own field, but also work with children. So any professional working with children, the word pediatrician is loosely applied to all healthcare professionals working with children, not only the pediatricians. Basically, what we are saying is that when you come to our group, it is all about child health, and children are the center of ATP. Everything we do on the group, Facebook group, outside the group, reaching out on the field, medical outreaches, everything is always about children. Sometimes we are very generous and we try to accommodate a little bit of the mothers and all that, but we really want our focus to be child. So shout out and apologies to anyone who ATP has offended because we didn't celebrate your birthdays, or we didn't congratulate you when you got married, or we didn't do any of those things. It's because we want to remain focused on our focus, and which is about child health, child welfare. That is all our ATP is all about. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Bimi. I remember then we had mothers answering questions for mothers, giving all sorts of solutions to all sorts of problems. I remember reading so many funny things, and I was like, how will ATP manage to filter all these people? But kudos to ATP. Now all we get is professional answers. No more confusion from an initial question. Thank you very much, Dr. Bimi.
Yeah,
Well
thank
done, I
you
must
so
say.
much. Yeah, we had a lot of battles with the experienced mothers, but thank God when Facebook introduced ton of comments. And this is also because some people are watching, because this is supposed to be an interactive session for you to, though we're still going to have an open house on Saturday where you can ask me any question you have about Ask the Pediatrician, how we run our group, what we do. Just ask us anything, we will answer it. And we don't shy away from confrontation and all that. We had a lot of battles with the experienced mothers, but we initially would tell them, please don't comment. Of course, sometimes the mothers don't listen to us, and eventually Facebook introduced ton of comments, and so that's what we do. And again, this is not to say that mothers, your opinion don't count. Please don't get us wrong. We value experienced mothers. We value your experience. You are wonderful people. I mean, you know a lot. We appreciate that. But we want, when people come to our group, we don't want them to have any form of confusion. We want them to know that this answer they are getting is the pediatrician's perspective. It doesn't matter whether they take the answer or not. They don't have to follow it. That is not the important thing. But we don't want people to be confused with what does the pediatrician say and what an experienced mother say. It doesn't mean that the pediatricians are always right. It doesn't mean the pediatricians are always right or you are wrong. No, that's not the point. But like we call our group Ask the Pediatrician. So it means whoever is coming to the group, and that's one of our group terms of engagement. It's one of our group rules. Whoever is coming to our group is coming to ask a pediatrician question. It's not coming to ask a mother. All questions on ATP are directed to the professionals. So that is why we don't want experienced mothers answer. And I always tell mothers, if you want the experienced mothers answer, you know the other groups where that is allowed, where you can get it. So don't come. So No, there's no basis for anybody come to ask a pediatrician who is not a pediatrician, who is not a healthcare professional answering our questions. So sometimes people still do it, no matter what we do. Some people still do it, and sometimes we have people that will say, "Go and buy agbo, go and buy this," even on our group. And I have to tell them, "Look, why don't you guys go and create ask the herbalist, go and create ask the herbalist group, so that when you want information about herbs and stuff, you
Then
go
you
to
can
that
go
group."
there.
But when you come to ATP, we want you to just ask the professionals there. We want the pediatrician to be the one answering you. So that is the reason why we turn off comments. It's not as if we don't value your opinion, but like I said again, ATP is a specialist group. In our group, we want we don't want is it one of the reasons why we created the group is to avoid the confusions mothers were having on the other groups where they have 10 different answers and they are confused again which one is the right one. So we want them to come to ATP only for the pediatrician's perspective. When they get the pediatrician's perspective, it is up to them to take it or not, but in our group it's just about the pediatrician giving them the answer. So basically that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Dr. Bimi. Very quickly, I don't. Okay, we still have the messages coming in. Abdul Razak, thank you very much. That's a thumbs up for ATP. We appreciate your messages. Thank you very much. God bless you. We're still here for the next here. So you have to start our official online conference very soon. But before that, I want Dr. Bimi to of the activities for the week.
Okay.
It's still story. Please.
Okay. I'm back. Also, this is our anniversary week, so we have so many things planned for the week. So every day of
Okay.
the week, we're going to be having different activities, and we're going to
Okay.
start with our online conference. And this conference is starting today. So later on this, after this section is over, I'm going to be giving the keynote address, and I'm going to be giving an overview. The theme of our conference is about pediatric emergencies. So that is the theme of the conference. Uh, so we started already with our opening ceremony today, and I'm going to give a keynote address by 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to talk about pediatric emergencies. And somebody may wonder why are we talking about pediatric emergencies. Okay, let me leave that when I'm starting my keynote address so that
Starting.
I don't start too early. And tomorrow we will continue with the conference, and we're going to have different speakers talking to us about different aspects of pediatric emergencies. And so we're going to have different speakers. So we have Dr. Oge. She's going to talk to us about pediatric surgical emergencies. And we have somebody like Dr. Uche, and she's going to talk to us about different she's going to talk to us about newborn emergencies. And then we also have Dr. Ogunle, where she's going to talking to us about CPR in children. We have Dr. Oge. Okay, she's going to talk about pediatric surgical emergencies. We have Dr. Rena, who is also going to talk to us about aspiration, which is one of the commonest emergencies children have that sometimes leads to death. We also have myself. I'm going to do my own today. I'm going to be talking about overview of pediatric medical emergencies. And then, so those are the various things that we're going to be talking about on. So our conference is Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're going to have our ACP Baby of the Year 2018. You know, we do ACP Babies of the Year, and this time around, we're
Yeah.
going to have them in two categories. Already, most of the mothers already submitted their entry. So what is going to happen on
Okay.
Wednesday is that you are going to have the pictures of all the babies who have entered into the
Okay.
competition, and you are going to select which of the babies you think is the winner. So we're going to have the male
Yes.
category. Initially, when we started this 80 babies of the year, we just did one category for boys and girls. And of course, the girls are
Okay.
actually more beautiful. So the challenge win. So but some people were not happy. So we decided to separate it. So we have the boys and then we have the girls category. So you will have the pictures. You're not going to have the names of the babies. They all of them have their contestant number, and all you need to do is to pick which baby you think is um should be the winner of the competition. And so that's going to be what, so ATPBB of the year is coming up on Wednesday, and then we also have our quiz coming up on Thursday. We want to know who is the most knowledgeable ATP member. And this competition are coming with prizes. So there are prizes for the babies of the year. There are prizes for the quiz winner. We're going to have 2 rounds for the quiz. We're going to have a round that is every ATP member is allowed to be part of that competition. And then we'll pick the first 10. And then the first 10 will now battle it in the second round. And whoever is a winner will have first, second, and third. They all win prizes. And also, even anybody that entered the second round also has prize to win. So that's what's going to happen on Thursday. And on Friday, we're going to have our recruitment campaign, like I mentioned. So if you want to be a member of ATP, either a financial partner, a moderator, Facebook group moderator, or you want to be a medical outreach volunteer. So it will be a day for you to just indicate, and we're going to be, all our moderators will be there. We'll have different platforms for you to sign in, to click on the questionnaire, and to enter in. We're going to welcome, and it's also a day for you to also add other members, other friends. You can add them to our group. So that's what is going to happen on Friday. And on Saturday, we're going to have our open house. So it's going to be an open house. So I'll be here from 10 a.m. instead of the ATP Live where we do health talk. We're going to now just talk. You can ask me any question about Ask the Pediatricians, or any health questions. Any question under the heaven is welcome on Saturday. So and of course that day will also be, it's also our award night. We'll be recognizing members of ACP that have distinguished themselves. So we'll recognize all of them on that day. So all our moderators, all our everyone who has done wonderful things on ATP, we're going to be recognizing them on that day. And then Sunday is our anniversary parties. Okay, so we're going to celebrate, we're going to dance, we're going to eat, we're going to have fun. I'm sorry, the parties is for the ATP second tier level members, so moderators, financial partners, and financial partners, and outreach volunteers. So those are the people that will be celebrating with us during the anniversary party. So we have it in different locations, and if you are going to be part of it, I'm sure you will have gotten your invite by now. So that is basically what we're going to do during this week. So it's a week that is packed full of activities, and all our conference will be live. So please try and join us from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Mondays, on Tuesday for the anniversary conference. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about pediatric emergencies, and I'm sure you're going to learn quite a lot during this conference. So please don't hesitate to join us for every activity during this conference.
Yeah. Right. So you have heard it from Dr. Gbemi. Don't forget to join us. It's a week filled with lots of interesting activities. Starting from, we started today already. And Dr. Gbemi
we started today already.
Okay, this is a message from Lizzie Ubame. God bless you, my dear Dr. Gbemi. God bless you, Dr. Gbemi. Say amen to that. Thank you, Lizzie.
Amen. Thank you, Lizzie.
I appreciate your messages. If you have just joined us, you're welcome. It's ATP 3rd anniversary, and we're going to go into the opening lecture, the theme for the period, very shortly. So please don't forget to join. Invite your friends to join us. They will have opportunities to ask their questions. Dr. Gbemi is still here. I'll be talking about pediatric emergencies, the role of parents in reducing child deaths. I know nobody wants to lose a child, but there are times that accidents happen. But if you have that information, if you have the knowledge, just one little thing you might have done differently will help the child. So Dr. Gbemi is going to give us an overview of our theme for the week. There's so many things to be learned from all the other speakers throughout the week, but Dr. Wimi is going to give us an overview of pediatric emergencies and the role of parents. Parents, of course, have the most important role in every child's life. The first contact is the parents when they're at home, or outside the house, except for when they're in school or something. But even at school, the first person the teacher will call is the parent. So the role of the parent in reducing child deaths. Dr. Bemi is going to be talking about pediatric emergency. Dr. Bemi, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm always ready, but I think we should just give our members, some of them, a few minutes, maybe to share this video,
Video.
to get their questions ready, and maybe to call friends and family, anyone that they think will really benefit from this.
Benefits from this.
Yeah, so we'll just give like 1 or 2 minutes, so
Okay.
that you can share the video and you can share, and then we'll just come back in 2 minutes and then we'll continue. So we will appreciate if you can just share the video right now before we go on to talk about the pediatric emergencies. Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Bimi. We have 1 2 minutes to share the video, invite your friends, get people on board to watch and learn. There are so many things we can prevent. Accidents happen with children every day. Knowing what to do at that moment is very, very important. If you have someone who should not miss this video, please share so that they can join us and learn something. The keynote address is overview on the pediatric emergencies. What are the first things we will do when we have an emergency with a child? A child bumps the head on something. What's the first thing you will do? A child gets a burn, maybe hot water or oil or something. What's the first thing you will do? A child is convulsing. What's the first thing you will do? I've had situations that I wish I could help. I was in the market sometime and a child was convulsing on a rainy day. It was wet, it was cold. And then they stripped him of all his clothes and then poured cold water on him on the cold. And at that moment, I said, I wish I was a doctor, but I'm not a doctor. And then I just said, I wish I had knowledge of something I could have done to help that child. All I was just saying, take him to the hospital, take him to the hospital. And then they were stuffing things in his mouth. And I really was helpless. But I hope to learn something today, and I hope you learned something as well. So please don't forget to invite your friends to join us to learn something. All right, so Dr. Bemi.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Okpe, for the for the experience. So I'm just going to start talking about our pediatric emergencies. Many people may be wondering, why is Dr. Gbemi and why is Ask the Pediatrician talking about pediatric emergencies? Because if you know ATP very well, one of the things we always tell you is that we don't like to take emergency questions because it is an online platform and we know we cannot do anything about emergency, because if you know the definition of emergency, a health emergency, because there are different kind of emergencies obviously, but when we're talking child health, we are talking about pediatric emergencies. It is something you really need to do something right there and then. It is, you need an intervention immediately.
Immediately.
So there's no point for you, there's no time for you to even type on Facebook when you have a pediatric emergencies, So
Yes, it's so
sometimes
true.
it bothers me a lot when I see mothers typing on Ask the Pediatrician Facebook group, asking questions that are like emergencies. Someone like, what are you still doing on Facebook
What is
when you
in
should be
for
in the hospital?
in
And
the
what I found
hospital?
out
True.
as a professional is that sometimes, there are some things like one of those that our senators will say that sometimes some things you assume that people should just know that this is common sense thing, that you should know that, oh, this child should be taken to the hospital. But
To
the,
the hospital.
sometimes mothers just don't know, not because they are just being indifferent, or they are ignorant, or they just don't know that
Mm.
this is an emergency. This is not something I should be asking on Ask the Pediatrician, because as a pediatrician group, we thank God we have speed, we have moderators, but we are not online 24/7. So, and different moderators come online at different times. So there are quite some people drops on ATP. Our response time we give is 72 hours. Sometimes question may take us up to 72 hours to respond to. So which means that we cannot always answer your questions immediately. So when you ask us emergency questions, I mean, most people that volunteer for ATP are professionals in their own right, whether medical or non-medical. So most of them are not even online, they're at work. So it is when they have their spare time. It's just that because we are lucky that we have people in different parts of the world. So sometimes when some people are in the morning, some people are in the night. So somehow we are covered most of the time. But that does not mean they can always answer your questions. And so a professional may not see that question until very late. So basically, we were saying that we don't like you to ask emergency questions on active pediatrician. If you think the child has an emergency, you need to go straight to the hospital immediately. But we still get a lot of questions, and I find that it's because sometimes mothers don't know that what they are dealing with is an emergency. They just think, okay, let me just come and ask on ATP, and sometimes we don't answer the question. Recently, a mother asked that my child took in Aldomet. Aldomet is a tablet for blood pressure for an adult. And the mother is coming to ask on ATP, and I'm like, seriously, what are you doing here? You should be on, because within 1 hour they can recover that drug out of they can pump it out of the child's stomach. But you are still waiting on ATP to tell you what to do. Those are the kind of things we're talking about. So ATP, we don't answer emergency question, but basically what we want to do during this period is to let mothers know what are pediatric emergencies, what are the things I must see in my child, that once I see this, I know that this is not for ATP. This is rushing, I'm calling the ambulance, or I'm going straight to the hospital immediately. So that's basically what we are going to be talking about today, So uh I'm just going to go into the different things that constitutes pediatric emergencies. So, what is a pediatric emergency? Let's start with that. What is a pediatric emergency? I try to make my question. This is a presentation for mothers, so I'm not trying to use big grammar. So I try to make it as simple. I mean, one of the things we try to do on ATP is to make things simple for mothers, because we are all at different levels. So basically, a pediatric medical emergency is a serious condition that is life-threatening. Anything that threatens life, anything that requires immediate intervention to save life is an emergency. In other words, anything that is happening in a child, it doesn't matter what it is, but if you don't do something right there and then, that child is going to die. That is a pediatric emergency. And it is important that we as parents, and all we're going to be doing during this week is to be talking about the different pediatric emergencies that are common. So it is anything that will make a child to pass on quickly. That is a pediatric emergency. That emergency is something that requires immediate intervention. And as human beings, there are some things that are so vital to our life. And if you don't have those things, then you're gone. So those are that's what we call pediatric emergencies. And there are four. If you remember the word, it's as simple as A, B, C, D. Yeah, A, B, C, D. So we're talking about airway, we're talking about breathing, and we're talking about circulation, and we're talking about disability. Don't worry about the big grammars. I'm going to break it down. So basically, anything that affects your airway, in other words, your airway from your nostril to your trachea, then to the lungs. If there's anything that blocks that airway, and that is a pediatric emergency. Anything causing an airway obstruction, because what happens when there's an airway obstruction is oxygen cannot go into your lungs, and we all need oxygen to survive. You can only survive for so long without oxygen going to your brain. Within 4 minutes of no oxygen in your brain, you may be gone, because luckily some adults have a little more reserve. So even sometimes when you can't breathe for a while because of the reserve, your lungs are bigger. But for the children, they don't have so much because their lungs are smaller. So there's little or no reserve for them. So they have to take their air in. So anything that causes blocking, maybe the child took food the wrong way, like aspiration or foreign body or something, and the child's airway is cut off, or the child is unconscious, the child has collapsed, and the child is not breathing, you know, and there's something blocking the airway, that child may die. And that is an emergency. So that is how you recognize an emergency. Anything that affects those
The
pipes
airway.
that bring air into the child's lungs,
Okay.
that's a pediatric emergency. The second one is
Okay.
breathing. Everything that affects the child's breathing, that make the child not be able to breathe well, it's just the same.
Properly
It's similar
as
to
the
A.
airway.
A is about the airway. B now is the air itself going down.
Breathing.
So even if your airway is patent, if you can't breathe the air in, it's also as if the airway is blocked.
Blocked.
Oxygen is not getting
Okay.
into the lungs, oxygen is not getting into your blood. So anything that affects those two things is an emergency, because they have to be relieved immediately. So sometimes my mother asks me, child is coughing. One of the things we always tell them is that the cough is not a problem, but once a child is
Yes.
coughing and the child is not having difficulty with breathing, the child
Breathing.
is not breathing well, the breathing is fast, or the breathing is irregular, or the breathing is so slow, anything that affects breathing is an
Breathing.
emergency. So that's why we always say that, oh, even if the child is coughing but no fever, the child is breathing well, the child is playing well, you can be watching,
Okay, no
you
problem.
can say maybe to resolve. But if the child start having breathing difficulties, so when
Breathing.
people come online and ask me, my child is not breathing well, and I'm like, what are you doing at home?
Doing
That
at
is an
home.
emergency, because anything that affects breathing, that's it. And like I said, children don't have enough research. So when the child is breathing fast, the child is already telling you something is wrong with my
What's
breathing.
wrong with
The
me?
child is not, his child is struggling to breathe. They are making so much effort, they are making so much sound. They are
Sure.
trying to tell you something is wrong. And if you don't do something, after a while they get tired and they stop breathing completely, and that is it. And most of those kind of children, if there's no intervention at the hospital, is dead. And that's why you see sometimes we take over, we start breathing for the children ourselves and all that. So that's it. Then the C part is circulation. We need blood flowing in our veins. So anything that makes your blood, or what, if you get dehydrated, or there's no, you go into what we call shock, or you are bleeding, you're losing so much blood and things like that, those are emergencies, because we need to, this is where diarrhea comes in. The other day, if your child is having diarrhea and now the child cannot drink, the child is in shock, you can't even find their veins and all that, that's an emergency and things like that. Then the D part is what we call disability. When a child is
Disability.
unconscious, a child who is not responding at all, you talk
Yeah.
to a child, is not answering you, or is so
Answering.
sluggish, that is an emergency. So anything that affects these three parts, or let me say four parts of the body, A, B, C, your airway, your breathing,
BCG.
your circulation,
Your
those are
circulation
emergency.
is
They must be dealt with immediately. They are not when you should come to ATP and ask Dr. Gbemi.
a
They are like,
question.
if you are in a country where there's ambulance, you are dialing 999. If you are not in Lagos State, you can dial 767. You can dial
Okay.
126. As it says 126. So yeah. So that you should know the emergency number of your country. You should
Numbers.
know the what to call when you have an ambulance. If a child is unconscious, the child has collapsed, the child has is having anything that is threatening the airway, threatening breathing, and all that, that child needs to be in the hospital. If you go to the hospital as
Immediately.
well, they will see you first before any other person else, because you are in an emergency. Emergency means something must be done right now. If you
Right
don't do
away.
anything right now, that child is dying, and that is death. So it's important for mothers to recognize emergency. I know all this big grammar Dr. Bimi is saying
Emergencies.
may still not make sense to some people. What is it airway? What is breathing? So what I'm going to do in the last few slides is to tell you specific signs for you,
Of
the one that you will
emergencies.
see. Forget all. I just use those airway to make it clear for some people to know. Okay, if it's airways, if it's breathing, if it's circulation, if it's disability, unconscious, and all that. But I'm not going to
Okay.
go into specific things to watch out for. Which once you see
Okay.
in a child, then you know that child is
Needing emergency
that child
care.
is having an emergency. So that's basically what I'm going to talk about now. So I've already mentioned some
Okay.
of them, but let's just do it all. Any child that is or unconscious or is not responding, that child is an emergency. Okay, any child that
Okay.
has any of those things, that child is an emergency, and that child needs to be taken to the hospital
So the hospital.
immediately. So that's basically what we're talking about here. I was trying to show you my slide. Just let me bring it back again. uh
Okay.
yeah. Okay, yes, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, so once a child is not responding, so if you see a child, and I think most mothers know this one already, a child will suddenly collapse, or a child who is not responding, that child is an emergency. That child really needs to be taken to the
Seen
hospital
by
immediately. So
professionals.
that's not when to come and ask the
The
pediatrician,
nutrition on Facebook.
online, or so we've mentioned that already. Another sign that a child who is having convulsion, for example, is also another child that is uh, that shows that that child, it
See,
needs to be uh, to be taken to the
take it to the
hospital
hospital.
immediately as well. So those are the signs of a child that requires a immediate
Emergencies.
intervention as
Medical
well.
attention.
So yes, so those are like emergencies that you really need to take to the hospital immediately you see them. Another thing is a child who is not breathing well, which we have already mentioned earlier.
Mentioned earlier.
So if a child is not breathing very well, then that child also needs to be taken to the hospital immediately as well. So
Immediately. Okay.
initially, the child may be breathing fast. The child is breathing fast, or you are not so sure what the child is able to do. So if the
Yeah.
child is breathing fast and all that, then that child also needs attention, because like I said initially, it's a sign that the child is giving to you that I need
And that something is
attention, I
wrong.
need attention, something is wrong. But if you don't
Yeah.
do it immediately, then after a while, the child may, the child will now go to the other side of it, and then that child will now have some what we call tiredness. The child is tired, and when the child is tired, then the child could end up, having uh the breathing will fall slow down, and when the breathing has slowed down, eventually the child will stop breathing completely. So
Breathing.
when you have those kind of scenario, that is another sign telling you that this child is having an emergency, and
Emergency.
then the child needs to be taken to the hospital immediately as well. Or if the child took things the wrong way,
Agree.
children who aspirate, maybe they took their food
Mm-hmm.
the wrong way, and the pipe, the airway is blocked.
It's
you know
blocked.
how you know that one is that they'll be choking. If a child is giving some choking signs, they can't breathe well, they are giving you choking
Yeah.
signs, then that is immediate emergency that needs to be addressed immediately.
Just
Also, children who are
okay.
having convulsion initially, because people ask me a lot about this, as, oh, is convulsion causing
Convulsion.
some people don't know whether conversion, but conversion is an emergency, because sometimes in the process of conversion, if it doesn't stop on time, especially, the child's
Yes.
airway breathing will be compromised, and when those airway and breathing is compromised, then that child may so it has become an emergency. So the
Emergency
conversion
patient.
itself needs to be stopped immediately as well. So like we said again, those are some of the
Signs of
sign
emergency.
of emergency in children. Another thing you can also see is that in children, in African children, it may be a bit difficult, but if the children's lips are blue or gray, but mothers have this intuition, they just know that something is not right with this
Something
child.
is wrong.
Yeah, like I see the child in some people, they will say the child is white, they call it white. So it's a sign of the child having pallor, that the child, as if the circulation, remember what I mentioned about C, So when children are in
Yes.
shock, one of the signs they will look like, they will look pale, they will look bluish, they will look grayish. That is a
Mm-hmm.
sign of their hands and legs may be very cold, and they are very weak. They are very lethargic.
Mm.
They may even not be responding. So those are some of the signs that will point you to the fact that this child is in shock. You understand? The
Sure.
circulation, the child is the blood circulation is not optimal. And when you have that kind of scenario, it's a
Mm-hmm.
time also for you to know that I may need to take this child to the hospital. Okay.
To the
So another
hospital.
sign is when children have severe neck pain and headache with fever. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
this is common in children with meningitis a lot. So if they have severe headaches and neck pain, it's also another
Okay.
sign for you to know that this is a child that needs to go to hospital. Sometimes some severe pain that is true. I know that pain may not be an emergency, but when it is too much, I mean, the child cannot do anything. A child who, because of pain, cannot stand, cannot sit, cannot eat, cannot do,
Mm-hmm.
that is severe pain. And especially if the pain is
Okay.
continuous, is persistent like that. So those are signs that tells you that this may be a sign of emergency.
An
I've decided to leave my
emergency.
slide on continuously because I want people, even after this broadcast, to still watch it
To
and see
read.
some of these signs so that you will know what
Okay.
are the signs of emergency. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have what we call accidents or injuries, where children sustain cuts, bruises, and all that. And if it is deep, actually, and if it is to the head, to the chest, remember the head, the brain,
Yes.
the chest, the lungs, and the breathing pathways are there,
And the
and
brain
or the
problem.
abdomen. Sometimes children can lose so much blood from the blood that children have. It may shock some of you. Like the newborn babies, they have what we call 80 mils per kilos of blood. In other words, all the blood in a newborn baby cannot fill a Coke bottle. All their blood, everything.
Really?
Yes, it's about 240. If the baby
Wow,
is
I'm surprised.
weighing 3 kilos, all the blood in that baby's body cannot
Wow.
fill a Coke bottle. And I'm just giving you to
35
know that
CL.
yes, it
How the
cannot fit
50 CL, Dr.
it
Billy?
cannot fit 35 cl. All their blood is about 240 mils,
Wow, that's
80 mils per
serious.
kilo. So you can imagine if that baby starts to bleed, that baby
You
can
lose
bleed out the
blood.
whole blood
Wow.
in less than an hour. So when a child has cuts that is really bleeding or that is deep cuts, you really need to take them to the hospital because that is an emergency, because we may need to
Hospital.
block that bleeding and we may need to replace whatever the child is losing because
The
they don't have so
lost
much
blood.
blood in the first place and all that. So no, usually if there's continuous bleeding, what you need to do is to try and stop the bleeding, put pressure.
Pressure.
Most mothers should know first aid. You should know first aid. It's one of the things we'll be talking about during our. You should know first aid, what to do if a child has convulsion, what to do if a child is bleeding, what to do before you go to hospital. But what you should do in a child who is bleeding is to put a pressure. You can use an handkerchief and wrap white and wrap it, or just put your finger or hand and try and press on that bleeding. Most bleeding should stop in
Now,
5 minutes because the natural clotting should
okay.
do. But if the child bleeding, I mean, bleeding is not stopping, that child is at risk of they can lose all their blood through that cut. So they need to go to the hospital immediately.
Hospital
Burns,
immediately.
Bonds. A lot of mothers come to ACP with bonds question. They will even take a very nice picture and send it to us. Bonds is an emergency. If it is big, if it's just a minor bond of, but there are also some bonds of some particular parts of the body. It doesn't matter how small they are, they are an emergency. Bonds of the face,
Emergencies.
bonds of the hands, bonds of the feet, bonds around the perineum, the genital parts area, you know, or bonds around the face. It doesn't matter how little those bonds are. Those bonds needs to be seen by a doctor. So those are an emergency because they can lead to contractions. But the other part of the bonds, if it is less than 5 pieces, you people another thing, mothers don't know how to say this is big bonds, but I will leave you to use your
That
judgment. But
small
so
boy.
in order to be on the safe side, maybe you should just take all bonds cases to the hospital so
To the
that the child can be
hospital.
seen. So bonds is another thing we don't expect. Oh, my baby just pour hot water on his body. Oh, what should I do? it's hospital.
Mm.
It's an emergency. The child really needs to be seen. And of course, we've talked
Seen by
about
a
loss
doctor.
of consciousness. Any child that lose consciousness, after hitting their head, sometimes children play rough a lot, especially the boys. They like to play rough a lot. So they fall down, baga, their head is on the floor, baga.
Yes.
And sometimes the mothers are so scared and they're like, Doctor, what should we do? What should we do? So this is how you need to know. If a child fall and cries, they will cry every time. But after
Okay.
that, the child keeps quiet, the child is awake, the child is playing, the child is eating, there's nothing. You don't need to worry. You can
Okay.
give them painkillers, paracetamol, and all that. But if a child fall and hits their head
Okay.
and they become unconscious, that is a
Oh.
serious head injury. Or they start bleeding from their ears, or they start bleeding from the nose, or what look like water, because actually that is what we call the cerebrospinal fluid, the water around the brain, start coming out from the ears
Brain.
or start coming out from the nose.
The
That is a
nose.
serious head injury. You need to take the child to the
To
hospital
the
immediately.
hospital.
So these are some signs
Excuse
of
me.
emergencies that we need to know. That once you see some of these little things, I will encourage mother, maybe you should just read them, make a list. You know that you need to
Yes.
go to
Yeah.
the hospital. Or the child, after saying is well, then the child started to become unconscious. A child who hit the head
Conscious.
initially was okay, then later you notice that the child is becoming
Later
drowsy,
on.
the child is not responding anymore. That is an emergency. That is head injury. That child really needs to be seen at the hospital.
By
Then
the
let me just
doctor.
also say that any injuries that's this one, we always assume mother should know anyway, but injuries that involve all these kind of bicycle road traffic accident, for example, bicycle
Okay.
injuries, falls when children
Okay.
fall from a tree, all those kind of things,
Okay.
you cannot be sure whether the children have fractures or things like that. So you just need to take them to
Yes.
the hospital. So those are the things that we need to do. Or
To
children who
know.
choked, or children who drown, they went into the water, they're almost drowning, or you rescue them from the water, you know or burns sometimes children are not burns. Maybe there's a fire in a building, but the
And then
children,
they yell
they didn't
smoke.
sustain the burns, but they've inhaled the smoke. They can have what we call
Okay.
inhalational injury. So you need to take them to the
Okay.
hospital. Or children who get shocked with they put down in electricity and they were
Electricity, power
shocked and
surge.
all that. Yeah. Or children who took things, maybe drugs or poison. Please, all those kind of children need to be seen. It's an emergency. You don't need to call, you don't need to ask on it. In other countries, they have what we call the poison center that you can call. You will tell the poison center, this is what my child took,
What's
and then they will
took?
tell you what to do. But in Lagos, Nigeria, we don't really have a poison center number. So for you, it's better you take your child to the hospital. Now, why it's so important is that most poison, if you come within the first 1 hour, that first 1 hour is a golden hour. If you come within the first 1 hour, the doctors will know how to take out that whatever, whether it's a drug or
Whatever the
whatever the
child has
child has taken.
ingested.
Yes, they can remove it, like if it is a drug, because they can do, because most time within that first 1 hour it may not have been absorbed into the
In the
blood. It's
body.
still sitting in the stomach. So if you come to us, we quickly induce vomiting, or in
Taking
depending
out.
on the kind of medication, or we will do gastric lavage, we will remove it. But if you come after 1 hour, sometimes there's nothing we can do anymore. And there are some kind of poison, like kerosene poison, for example. We don't induce vomiting, we don't give palm oil, which is what people do in my part of the world. Any child who has taken poison, they go and load them with palm oil. I wrote something about that a while ago, and that child actually died from the palm oil rather than from the poison
Yeah.
itself.
I
So
remember the
so so
story.
so we need to really make sure that these are things that we must see, and when you see them, you need to know that, okay, oh, I need to take this child to the
To
hospital.
the
And finally,
hospital.
I need to stress that babies below 2 months, they are high risk babies. If a newborn baby or a baby who is still below 2 months is sick for any reason, don't try and assume. I see mothers telling me, my 6 weeks, I'm giving this, I'm giving cups. In a 6 week old baby, you are playing with fire. Those kind of babies, you really need to take them to the hospital. Don't, if I even tell mothers on ATB, don't even take them to general practitioner, because sometimes some of them, depending on where you live, they are not very comfortable with babies. They don't know what to do. You are better off just taking your babies to the pediatrician straight away. So those kind of babies, even if they just look a little bit weak, or they are just not sucking again, or they are just having a little fever, because they can progress very rapidly. So for such kind of babies, you really need to take them to the hospital immediately. So basically what we're saying is that these are things that are emergencies, and when you see those signs, you really need to take the children to the hospital. I know it's a long talk, but the goal is that I'm not planning to tell you what we will do, what we will not do. The goal in emergency is for you, it's not for you to do anything. Most times in emergency, you really need to take the child to the hospital. There are also some emergencies like asthma attack. Some children having asthma attack, you should know what to do, like first aid. Give them their inhaler or nebulize them. But you should do that like with 3 times within 1 hour. If they're not getting better, you are on your way to the hospital. If a child is having convulsion, you watch. In 5 minutes, they are not getting the conversion not stopping, you are on your way to the hospital. Usually, most times, doctors would have told you what to do in those kind of emergencies. You understand? Newborn babies, they are not better. You're on your way to the hospital as well. So, the goal is for you to know what to do. But even when you have emergencies, this is where I'm rounding it up. Don't panic. I know it's a difficult order to give. It's hard, but try not to panic. You know what? People actually make more mistakes when they panic than. So if you are the type that panics a lot, call the husband or call your wife, depending on which sex, if you do, or call a neighbor, because sometimes in some parts of the world, what you need to do actually do is to call an emergency, and the emergency will ask you questions. They want to know what is your emergency. So be ready to tell them what it is. Oh, my child is not breathing again, or my child is. So the emergency people will know how fast they need to respond. And while they are coming, they may be telling you some things you can do. We're going to talk about doing cardiopulmonary resuscitation. That's the worst emergency you can have. A child will collapse, who is not breathing, who is not doing anything. So that's the worst emergency you can ever have. And as a parent, you must know how to do some CPR, things like that. So we will talk about how to do chest compression and how to breathe for the baby before the emergency team arrives. So, but some emergency, they will just tell you, okay, put the child this way, do this, do that. If a child is having fever, the fever is too high. We have already talked about how to tap it. But once the fever is going more than 24, it's very high, you may want to take that child also to the hospital as well. So these are some of the things, mother. So when you have emergencies, based on all these things I've talked about, please don't act on ATP. Please go to the hospital. Go to the children emergency. Most hospitals will have a children emergency room close to them. So don't go to health center. Don't go to private. Some private hospitals are quite standard and good, but usually the children emergency room usually have pediatricians 24/7. That is standard. They are there 24/7. Some hospitals are not, the doctor may not be there, but if you're in the children emergency room, they will be there 24/7. So you can always, go there and they will attend to the child. Ideally, an ambulance should come and pick a child in emergency. Ideally, in ideal world. But in some part of the world, Lagos State, I think, have a Lagos State ambulance services. But some places, if you can get somebody to drive you down, or you can get somebody to take the child down, please do. But if you have to take your child down, try not to panic. Try to just go, and they will do the best they can for your child. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gbemi. That's been very educative. Please do the right thing. Go to the hospital in case of an emergency. Don't try your hands on anything Dr. Gbemi has told us. Just go to the hospital. But I know, Dr. Gbemi, somebody's still asking that, okay, in the case of a burn or an accident, what's the first thing I'll do before I get to the hospital? Okay, I don't have a car. There's no ambulance. I need to go and get a taxi while I'm waiting. What's the first or the immediate things I can do
in a burns emergency? You said burns.
Yes, in burns. Yes,
Okay,
like
so there's
water, hot
a
water.
yes, that's waterborne. So there's we have a group discussion recently where Dr. Hayo Romalate, who is a consultant burns and plastic surgeon, actually took up that topic. And for the burns people, what they want you to do, you can pour cold water on the burns. Don't put
Effectively,
ogi. Don't put what else do people put first? Just
egg,
cold water.
raw egg.
No raw egg, no ogi, nothing, because those things actually contaminate the bones.
The
And when they
surface of the
contaminate the bones,
wound.
even what the doctors will be dealing with later on will now be the infection from
Infection.
those what you've poured on. But if you just pour ordinary cold water, it will reduce the temperature because the heat is may keep on burning the child. Why? So you can pour cold water and then take the child to the hospital. So that's what you should do. Nothing else, nothing more. And if it's a big buns, you have to go to if it's a minor buns, you can buy something like Dermazine cream or gentle ballet. That's for a minor. We have different kind of bond. We have what we call first degree, second degree, third degree bonds, things like that. And like I mentioned before, it also depends on which part of the body. Like if it's a burns to the face, you really need to go to the hospital. It doesn't matter how small. If it's a burns to the hands, burns to the leg, you need to go to the hospital. If it's an electrical burns, you need to go to the hospital. Sometimes the injury may not be apparent. So basically that's what you
So,
really need to do. But for hot water burns, you can just pour cold water and then take the child to the hospital. Don't try and pour any of those other things that people do. Yeah, so that's what we would advise. Yeah.
thank you, Dr. Bimi. All right, if you're still here or if you've just joined us, it's ATPF3, and we're talking about pediatric emergencies, the role of parents in reducing childbirth.
Just to
Okay,
say that
Dr.
people
Bimi
can
has been
ask their
given.
questions. If you have
Yes,
questions
please
about
ask your
pediatric
questions.
emergencies, please drop it
We
for
can
us
give
in
you
the comments and
situations.
then we'll be able to answer
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Asylum. Okay, so please don't forget to ask your questions, make them very brief and say in the comment section to share for the next couple of minutes to take your questions. And then don't forget to still ATP at 3. The anniversary has started already. Okay, so Dr. Bimi, what are the most pediatric emergencies you have heard, like you have seen as a pediatrician? What are the most common emergencies you have seen?
Oh, okay. As a pediatrician, you actually work in the emergency room as well. You know, um, so the commonest I would say is that sometimes we tend to have a lot of children who have convulsions, maybe from fever, and then we also have children who are having asthmatic attack, coming in the emergency room, and so those are common emergencies because we have a lot of children who have those conditions routinely, so they can have it becoming worse. So they really need to come to the hospital and things like that. But uh, apart from that, we do there are every other thing I've mentioned about can present as an emergency. So children can then the accidents, those accident children falling from the tree, especially the boys, they play a lot of they could be very aggressive with their play. So children sustaining road traffic accidents, injuries to their legs, fractures, trauma cases as well. They too can come. But sometimes children start with what look like normal everyday illness. They have cough, they have pneumonia,
Okay,
or children have fever. It doesn't look like an
okay.
emergency at the beginning, but
Let's just
because
say, yeah, it's
sometimes
first.
mothers are trying to do things by themselves and then the thing escalates and then it
Yeah,
become an emergency. That's why I see, for example, if your child is coughing and is having difficulty with breathing, it may not look
breathing.
like an emergency at that point, but if you don't do anything that's your timeline for you to do something. If you don't do anything,
So,
then it becomes the emergency. So we have what we call urgency and we also got emergency. So a child who is having
okay.
high fever is an urgent case. A child who is having severe pain may not yet be,
Severity.
once it
An
affects
emergency.
airway, once it affects the ABC, airway is gone,
ED.
no breathing, the child is unconscious, the child is in shock. Those are the emergencies. But
Emergencies.
before it gets to emergency, the child would have given you enough warning sign. So at that point
Signs.
it's urgent, but it's not yet an emergency. So that's the time we really prefer you come when it is urgent, so that we can
Urgent.
intervene
Okay.
before it becomes an emergency. So a
Rather
child who is
than
having
an
an
emergency.
asthmatic attack, that is the time to come. because that time is urgent, it's not yet an emergency. But if you don't do something about that attack, then the child can stop breathing, and then it's not an emergency. And it's more difficult to bring children house when they've collapsed, when they are no longer breathing. You now have to start resuscitating them. It's easier to prevent them from going from the urgent state to the emergency state. So we want mothers to come to us, and that's why sometimes the mothers, one of the complaints we had a lot in ATP at the beginning was that, why are you always sending us to go to the hospital? Why are you always telling us to go to the hospital? Why not just tell us what to do? After all, you're a
Tell us what to
pediatrician. Yeah.
do.
Sometimes the best answer anybody can give you is to take your child to the hospital, because I can't reach out of my computer and touch your child. And sometimes, yes, that's the honest truth. And if I say a child is urgent, I know the child needs to be in the hospital. It's the hospital that they will physically touch the child. They will put up the drip. They will do anything they need to do. So mothers think everything is just write something for me to go and buy and I'll be fine. No. Sometimes you really need to be in the hospital. I know it's sometimes about money issue and all that, but really we need to go to the hospital so that we can, we can get the doctors to do their job. Yeah. We seem to have some questions.
Thank you, Dr. Gbemi.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're welcome.
This is from Boyede, Lady. Okay, well done, doctor. Very interesting presentation. Please, if a neonate of 2 weeks is having catarrh and cold, but it doesn't affect his breathing and no rise in temperature, in this case, can it resolve itself as it is caused by virus?
Yes, Oloyede. So a child who is having cough, catarrh, most likely without fever, without difficulty with breathing, I agree with you, most likely has a upper respiratory, which is a infection, which most likely is viral. So a newborn baby should really not be having that. You keep the baby warm, breastfeed exclusively. Keep away those with cough and catarrh from the baby. They don't pick it, they pick it up from people around them. They pick it up from all the people that have come to greet the baby and carry the baby. All the granny and the everybody wants to welcome the new baby. They are the one depositing all the viruses as they are going. And mothers don't like to listen to me, but I've told you, give them hand sanitizer, let them go, or give them soap and water, let them wash their hands. And if you keep your baby inside your room, inside the net, and zip up the baby, let them greet the baby from afar, or tell them your baby is sleeping. It's ideally you should keep newborn baby, because at that time they don't have much immunity, and the people that are coming with the viruses, they have immunity. Even though they have the virus, it's not disturbing them. The sisters and the brothers that want to kiss baby, they have the virus, it's not disturbing them. But this newborn baby doesn't have any immunity yet to really fight those things. So your breast milk from your own immunity can help, because you will pass on to the baby from your breast milk. That's why we say breastfeed exclusively. Keep the baby warm, keep the baby away from those who have the cough and catarrh. Let the people who are going to carry baby, let them wash their hands with soap and water. That will reduce that's risk. But I agree with you, it's not an emergency, and just do what I asked to. Keep baby warm, breastfeed, and your baby will be fine. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, this is from Gloria Anslam. Doctor, is it mandatory to give the baby vitamin D supplement in a case where the baby is always indoors? She is 5 months old, exclusively breastfed.
Okay, so it depends on which part of the world you are. So there are some parts of the world where they normally supplement with vitamin D in places where they don't have much of sunlight, and so most of the mothers as well don't have enough vitamin D, because vitamin D is one of those vitamins that you can produce by your body can produce if you walk in the sunlight and all that. So in Nigeria, especially, we have a lot of vitamin D and all that. So we don't usually supplement with vitamin D, but some of the mothers give some other vitamin drops. Some of your multivitamin drops, I'm not mentioning names. Some of them have vitamin D. You can just read. If they want us to mention their name, they should come and sponsor ATP Life. So they have vitamin D in them. So if you want to give, you can give, but really, there's no harm in giving if you want to give. But we routinely don't supplement in Nigeria. I know in some part of the world they routinely supplement the children with vitamin D, but we don't routinely supplement in Nigeria. So and just a note of caution that vitamin D can be too much. and it's one of those vitamins that can store in the body, unlike vitamin B and C. If you take too much of B and C, your body will excrete the excess. But vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, so it's stored in the body. So if you give too much, your baby can have the hypervitaminosis C, which is another condition on its own. So always check with your pediatrician first if you think you are vitamin D deficient or you want to give your baby vitamin D. But if you just give the regular multivitamin drops, you will still be giving enough of the vitamin D itself. So I don't think you really need to go ahead buying. But those in those cold countries where they really don't see sunlight for, let's say, like 90% of the time, so those ones usually take time to check the vitamin D levels, and sometimes they will supplement. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Bimi. All right. This is from Awutoye Lanio. What kind of food can I give my baby girl to gain weight?
Okay, I would say, yeah, please, we are discussing pediatric emergencies. So if you go to, but because it's our anniversary, I'm in a generous mood tonight to answer.
Anniversary.
I'm in a generous mood to answer our questions. So if you go to Active Pediatrician Facebook group, go to units. We have what we call units. Just look for the icons where they put discussion, photo, files. If you go through that menu part of the group, you will see units. Click on units and you will read. We have what we call Nutrition 101, which is on breastfeeding. We have Nutrition 102, which is on complementary feedings. We have lots of videos there. So you don't need to read too much because we have the 5 section. They also have lots of articles and books that you can read about complementary feeding and how to feed your child. We have group discussions that we have done. We have so many things on ACP group on nutrition. If you just go to any of our topics and click on complementary feeding or nutrition, you will have enough information. But if you don't want to read too much, there are videos that you can just watch in 5 minutes, 6 minutes videos each, and they will give you this information, very practical, very simple, with pictures, and it may be easier for you to digest. So go to ATP group and go to learning unit, do the nutrition units, and you'll be fine, I assure you. So thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Nifemi Annie. God bless you, ma. Long live ATP. Thank you, Nifemi.
Nifemi, thank you.
Your messages.
Yeah.
All right. So let's keep the questions coming. We have a few more minutes to go.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Gloria Anslin. Doctor, you just reminded me of when I had my son. I told a friend to use hand sanitizer, and she said I was a no-no.
I'm sure maybe she meant to know. Please, when it comes to your babies, let them call you whatever names they want to call you. It doesn't matter. Please stay your ground. And I always tell new moms, especially new moms, I really appreciate. I went on ACP testimony and I was reading a lot of first-time moms telling us their stories. I'm very happy that most of you are now empowered, even with your grannies, even with the mother-in-laws. We appreciate you, grannies. We appreciate you, our mom. Please, but just tell them, don't worry. Just tell them it is Dr. Boyede that said so. Tell them the pediatrician. You don't fight so, but just say that, mommy, the pediatrician said this, the pediatrician said that. So if they want to fight, bring them. So when you are coming to see the pediatrician for your 2 weeks appointment or whatever appointment you have to see the pediatrician, just carry grandma along. Then when you come, just say, just use time. Don't say grandma. Oh yeah, you just use time and say, doctor, what should we do about this? And let the pediatrician tell grandma, you don't have any problem. We will help you. We will tell them the right thing. So you don't need to fight anybody. So when it comes to the health of your child, you stand your ground. It is about your baby. I always tell people, my mom, I'm a pediatrician myself, but when I have my babies and my mom is around, she will like, let's do this. I'm like, no, I'm not. And she was like, this is how I brought you up. I said, it doesn't matter. But I always tell moms, pick your battles. If you fight everything, you will also end up being they will label you as a very difficult mom. So pick your battles. So there are some things that are inconsequential, you can let those ones go. For example, my mom says, if the baby hiccups, let's put wool in the hair, and that will make the hiccups to stop. I said, okay, that's fine. If you want to I know that the wool is not doing anything, but I also know that the wool is not harming my baby. So I let her have her way. But when she now wants to say, okay, this baby is having colic, let's give Kafra Akbelebe, and put kafra in water and give it. I say, no
And
way, my
just
baby is
small
not taking
drops.
no kafra pelebe in my baby's body. I'm a pediatrician. So I stand my ground. She will say her own. No, this is why we gave you your own time, blah blah. And you are still alive. You didn't die, blah. I say, okay, thank you. But me now, I know. So only God knows how many children have died those days from some of those things that we don't know.
Of
You
these
know,
things. Yeah,
people
true.
always we have a lot of child deaths those days, and people don't know why children are dying. But now we know why, because sometimes people just say, oh, it is abiku, abiku. Some of them is not abiku, it is the way we're
Yeah,
with the some of those things that we're doing. So
taking care of
don't
them.
mind your friend who is saying you are no, 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 no. So just tell her thank you, but this is what just tell them the pediatrician said so. End of story. If they are not satisfied, let them come and meet the pediatrician. And if they don't want to wash their hands, you are not carrying my baby. End of story. You don't need to fight so much. That is what um the question is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, see Gloria that is still asking question. Okay, she's telling us. So this is one of our
Okay.
ATP members from. Yeah, you can go on. Okay.
Members. All right. This is from Gloria Anslem. I'm in the Middle East and it's hot, but the baby is indoors with AC on. Okay, she's just giving us,
She's just
an
telling us. So this is one
instance.
of our ATP member from in
Yes.
diaspora. Thank you so much. We are happy to
Thank you,
have
Gloria.
you. Yeah. Okay. So she's telling me in the Middle East. So she's the one asking the question about vitamin D. And so,
D. Yeah.
Gloria, what I would just ask you is to ask the pediatrician seeing your baby what is their own
About
routine
there.
practice.
Okay.
And every country has their
Okay.
own practice.
Routine
So
practice for
some people
babies.
don't. I'm just telling you what we do in Nigeria. We don't routinely supplement our children with vitamin D. We don't. But I know
Vitamin D.
there are countries where
Okay.
they routinely supplement. So go with whatever
Yeah.
they do in wherever you are. So if you are in, if that's what they do wherever you are in the Middle East, please go ahead
Excellent. Go for it.
and do it. But if just ask your pediatrician, they'll be fine. I'm okay
Okay.
with whatever one works for you, because they would have studied the environment. They would know what is the best. Yeah.
Notes. Yes. All right. Okay. Thank you, doctor. This is from Victoria Bisola. What could cause the baby not to sleep at night after diaper change and not hungry? You didn't
Yeah.
tell us how old your baby is.
I'm
So,
sure
Demi, what could be the causes?
it's a new mom, and I'm sure it's a first time mom. You know, there's a way I always know the first time mom from the question. You know, because there are questions that you immediately you see the question, you know that this must be a first time mother. Because Victoria, most babies don't sleep at night when they are just born, because they sleep during the day. So it's a standard
The
thing.
day.
It's not abnormal. So that's why my mom always say, once your baby is sleeping, go and sleep. That is it. Because it takes time for their own rhythm to change. So most babies, they sleep, sleep, sleep during the day. Then when you are ready to sleep at night, then their own
Then they
day
are
has
weak and
just
ready
their
to
own
play.
money just started. So this is not an abnormality. So there's nothing wrong. So when native mothers ask me this question, I just tell them, welcome to motherhood. That is what is motherhood. Your night vigil, your ability to do night vigils and sing
Ah,
and dance and I mean,
rock the
when I had my
baby.
first baby, when I had my first baby, I was just like, God, am I not going to sleep again? I was
Mm,
really that worried.
okay.
I was like, really, am I not going to sleep in the night again? But Victoria, don't be worried. The baby will soon change. Within 2, 3 months,
That's
they will change
nice.
back. They will begin to sleep in the morning, I mean, in the night, and be awake during the day.
Nice one.
But the first 3 months could be a little bit. Don't worry, just hang in there. Don't worry, and your next baby, you will just know that is normal
You know
thing.
better.
You will know better. So don't worry, it's a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with your baby. And of course, I've seen Victoria is asking me again. He's asking about hiccups. I know she's a first time mom. I know.
Okay, please talk about the cooks, ma.
Yeah, that's how
The
you know
cooks in
first
baby.
time mom. First time mom, we ask you 3 questions in one sentence. It's a
In
first
one.
time. So she has asked me about she has asked me about hiccups. That is how you know a first time mom. So hiccups is normal. Most babies have hiccups. Sometimes because their tummy The diaphragm sometimes, they are very small, so every little thing, so it's the irritation of the diaphragm, but it's not a disease, it's not anything to worry about. Just leave them, it stop on its own.
Okay.
Some mother will say, don't give water, don't give water. Mhm. If you want to breastfeed, it's fine. If you want to just, if you don't do anything, the hiccups will stop on its own. You don't need to worry. It's just one of those minor issues. And as baby gets bigger, those things begin to stop. So you don't need to worry at all. Okay, Victoria.
Okay. All right.
It's Victoria is telling
Victoria
me that
Sola.
I'm
Oh,
right.
she has
I know.
responded.
Yes, I know I'm right. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, she's a first timer.
You have all these
Welcome to the club,
telltale
Victoria.
signs of the first time born. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
Dr. Bini, can we still take more questions or do
yes, we
we
can
wrap
take
up?
questions, but I don't think we have any questions upcoming. So if you have questions,
Okay.
please ask us. And just to remind those who just joined us later that we've
Yes, sir.
started our anniversary week, and
Okay.
we're having this week. We're starting with our online conference, and we've started today with the opening
Conference.
ceremony, and um I've
Overview.
just given the talk
For the
about
con-
overview of pediatric emergencies. So if you are just joining, you can watch the video later on, and that's basically what you need to do. And tomorrow we'll be here again, and tomorrow we're going to have three speakers. From 6 p.m. each speaker one within 30 minutes, and they will take questions as well. And Dr. Oge Idika, she'll be talking about pediatric surgical emergencies from 6 to 7 p.m. And then we have Dr. Uche Hanele Nzelu. She'll be talking about emergencies in the newborn. So people like Victoria, you can make sure you don't miss it and invite all your friends. And then we also have Dr. Rena. We'll be talking about aspiration. Aspiration is one of the serious emergencies in children when things go the wrong way. We have two pipes, the food pipe and the air pipe, but sometimes they go the wrong way, and it can, remember what I said about emergencies. Anything that affects airway and breathing is an
Yes.
emergency. So Dr. Rena will
Affects
shed more lights on that. So between
the
6 to 9 p.m.
airways.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
between 6 to 9 p.m. tomorrow, kindly join us. And then day two we'll have Dr. Buki will be talking about dental emergencies, and we also have Dr. Oliba Moyo. She'll be talking about poisonings in children, and then we also have Dr. Ogunlewe. She'll be telling us on CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, because God forbid anything can happen, and you have a child who collapsed on you, and you don't know what
What
to
do you
do,
do?
and so you may need to know how to do those initial resuscitation, we call it. So we will encourage you to
Okay.
try and join us tomorrow. On Tuesday for this. So day one is
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, and day two is on
It's
Tuesday, and that's the annual conference. But remember, it's a whole week activity we have on ATP. So don't forget to join us for those other parts of our conference. We have a
University
whole
celebration.
activity lined up. We've started today, and we want to
Okay.
appreciate all of you that joined us today, both for the opening ceremony and for this keynote
Thank
address.
you.
We thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you've learned something. We will try and stage a watch
Something
party
new.
afterwards for those who missed the beginning, and we can still replay it tomorrow as well for those maybe were not able to join us tonight. But join us on Monday evening for the conference day one, and on Tuesday evening 6 to 9 p.m. for the conference day two. ATP babies is on Wednesday. We're going to have all the pictures of the babies. We have over like 100 babies already.
Babies.
100 babies
Wow.
who have
Already.
indicated that they are going to join us. So we have 100 babies.
Okay.
So just watch out for your own babies so that you can you can vote for them. So if you really want to vote for your babies, this is the time to do it. So don't forget to join. Um, Wednesday, and on Thursday is going to be ATP quiz. So if you want to win our prize, I think our first prize is 10,000 naira with recharge cards and with certificates, and then our second prize is 7,500. Don't mind our prices, but we're going to be increasing it with time.
I don't
And
know.
then we also have the third prize winner is
We'll
going to be
get
a 5,000
there.
naira gift voucher. Yes, so please, if you are interested, join us um for the
Mhm.
competition on Thursday, ATP quiz. It's at 6 p.m. Don't say you didn't hear. Oh, that's why I'm reminding you now.
Yes, sir.
And the questions, I can
Six.
give you expo. Why should I give them the expo? Okay, I can give you some expo now. So, the questions are going to be drawn from all our group discussions, the group discussion we've had since last year, all the group discussion we've had on ATP in the last 1 year. So that's the expo I'm going to give to you. So if you know what to do, go and read up all our group discussions, all our ATP live discussions. So those are the things you need to read. As long as you're reading those ones, you'll be fine for the quiz. And on Friday we are going to have our recruitment campaign, and on Saturday it's going to be open house, and I'm going to be live again with one of our moderators, and you can ask me any question from 2 hours from 10 a.m. You can ask me any question. So I'm not going to take any topic in particular. We just throw open. You can say anything. You can ask anything. You can give feedback. You can give comments. Anything you want to do, just you are free. It's an open house on Saturday, and then on the Sunday it's going to be time to party and to celebrate.
Party.
It's going to
Yeah.
be ATP party, and on that open house, we are going to be
Okay.
giving out some random gifts. Giving just watch out. So if you want to be part of it, this is time for you to make sure you are part of it live. Only those who are live will get the gifts
Right.
that we're going to share. So
Gifts.
yeah, so just make sure you're part of it. So basically, that's what we have for ATP live. For
Okay.
this week. So it's a week
And this
loaded with
celebration.
activities, and we hope that you'll be part of it. And I know that you're going to enjoy it. Thank you so much for those who have joined us tonight.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Bimi. Thank you, Gloria. We see your messages. Thank you to everyone who has sent in a thank you message, a congratulatory message. We appreciate you all. You know, Dr. Bimi loves you all. We appreciate you. Thank you for keeping ATP alive. Thank you, because we know you keep sustaining ATP. Of course, with God and with you, ATP will go many more years. Thank you all very much. We encourage you to join our program. Just find time. You'll learn something. It's time to go, Dr. Baby. Final words.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Akpai, and thank you so much for everyone who joined us tonight. Um, just make sure you also join us tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be brighter. And I will encourage you, each time we are live, please share our video. You can share it to your own personal timeline. You can share it to your friends' timeline. You can send it to them in your messenger. And if you also want to watch it, if you don't have time now, you can also watch it later. And just also remind you that we are also on YouTube, so you can also watch our past videos. Not only this one, on all the other topics we've done in the past. You can watch it on our Ask the Pediatrician YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and look for Ask the Pediatrician Live, and all our videos will come up, and we'll appreciate you watching them. I assure you that you will learn quite a lot, and thank you so much. And thank you for, I think that's Priska Okore. Yeah, thank you so
Corey.
much for joining us tonight. And for those who are just coming online, we will stage this as a watch party just in another few minutes, so you can still watch it as well. Just I won't be able
Okay.
to take your comments during this live broadcast. So thank you also, Okpe, for anchoring the show with me tonight, and for all our. Just before I go on, you said I should give my last word. Once again, I want to just give some votes of thanks or gratitude. I really want to thank God, the giver of wisdom, the giver of knowledge. It's because of God. I have no apology for saying that. We exist, and I think the vision of Ask the Pediatricians is divine. I really want to thank God for how God has sustained the vision as well. And I want to thank those who have really been supportive. I want to start by thanking my family because I have to share my time with them. You have to share the time I'm supposed to spend with them with the ATP. And I think that they were really supportive. My husband, my children, my family members generally. I want to thank them. I want to thank all our ATP trustees. These are the people that you will never see them, but they are the one just there as a rock, for the Active Pediatrician Foundation. So I want to thank Dr. Rotimi Adesanya. I want to thank Dr. Jumoke Ogunro, and I want to thank Mrs. Steven. I want to thank you so much for just being there for us. I also want to thank all our ATP admin and coordinators and supervisors. I really want to thank Vera James, who has really been one of our strong admin. I want to thank Dr. Olatumi Bamigboje, and I want to thank Dr. Waugu. Those are the other admin members. Yeah, those are the admin members of ATP. If you don't know, you know. And I also want to thank our coordinators. I thank Vera James again. I thank Tomilola. I thank Butola. Yeah, I thank Busolo Gumbadiwa, Tomilola Iribake, and I thank Murenike as well. Those are the people that are really, really anchoring our ACP moderators. And I want to thank all the moderators on ACP. I cannot obviously mention everybody's name because I'm sure my memory cannot take all that, because we've had moderators in the past, old and current moderators. I want to anyone who has ever volunteered for ATP, I want to say thank you. And I want to, yeah, I want to thank all our professionals. I want to especially shout out to Dr. Oge Edeka, who has been our pediatric surgeon, Dr. Buki, who has been the dentist, Dr. Umu Famrewa. These are the people that anytime you see them, they just always answer. I want to thank all our ATP professionals. Even if I forgot your name, it is not a slight. I can't mention everybody's name, but I appreciate all of you. And I want to thank all our outreach volunteers, those who have really volunteered for us during the outreach. I really want to thank you so much. I really want to thank those who have given to us. There are some of you who have given to us financially. I don't even know. There are some people that give us so much. Well, maybe to them it may not be so much, but to us at that time that we needed that money for the project, it is a lot for us. And there are some of you I don't even know you till now, but I knew God knows you, and I know that all your reward, God will you will not pass you by. I want to thank Dr. Ayora Molate as one of our very wonderful supporters. I want to thank Dr. Uwaje, Pediatric Partners. She's been so wonderful as well. I mean, I really want to appreciate her. I want to thank all our corporate partners. I want to thank PIC 456. They've always been very supportive. I want to thank Aprachem. They're always there for us. I want to thank Fixing Care PLC. I really appreciate you. We've thanked EMSA, also efforts in the past. So these are some of the corporate bodies that have really supported Active Pediatricians in the past. I really want to thank every one of you. And this is just to wish ATP and all of you members of Active Pediatricians. That's it. Finally, I want to thank all the 517,000 members of Active Pediatrician Facebook group. I'm not sure I remember the last numbers, but I'm sure almost let me just say almost 518,000, so that would take care of everybody, members of Active Pediatrician group, because without you, there will be not us. We were one of those groups that was recognized by Facebook group recently when they had their they opened their Nigerian hub. They reached out to us, and they were impressed with what we're doing, and they invited us to be part of the opening of the Nigerian hub in Yaba. So because of you, that is why this group is growing stronger. So thank you to everyone, and for those who have always joined us on ATP Live, thank you so much. I just want to appreciate everyone and to say thank you for being part of this vision. Thank you for being part of this journey. And this is looking forward to celebrating 100 years in Jesus' diary of Ask the Pediatrician Facebook group. Thank you so much. Good, and have a wonderful
All
night.
all right. Thank you once more and have a good night. See you tomorrow. Bye
Bye.
bye.